You know, the relationship between Donald Trump and Barack Obama had been pretty smooth and pretty cordial during the transition from Obama administration to Trump administration. That's ended this week. It's ended in particular because of a disagreement about Israel, a disagreement that came through loud and clear when Secretary of State John Kerry gave a speech on Wednesday outlining the Obama administration's parting view of what's wrong with the way the Israeli government is approaching its relationship with the Palestinians. It was very harshly critical of the Israeli government, of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, particularly on its pursuit of settlements in the West Bank and land the Palestinians think is theirs and ought to be turned over to them in some settlement. But the address for this speech from Secretary Kerry was as much Donald Trump as Benjamin Netanyahu. Why is that the case? Because I think the Obama administration fears there are three principles that have guided American policy in the Middle East for a long time, for several decades, that are now in jeopardy of being thrown out the window by the Trump administration. The first is a principle that settlements are bad and illegal and an impediment to peace. The second is the belief that the status of Jerusalem ought to be determined in a final negotiation and ought to ultimately be the capital of both an Israeli state and a Palestinian state. And the third is that the only feasible solution to the Israeli-Palestinian problem is a two-state solution. One Israeli state, one Palestinian state. I think the Obama administration fears all those principles may be chucked by the incoming Trump administration. The speech this week was as much attempt to say to them, don't do that, that's dangerous, as it was to say the same thing to the Israeli government.